kiddos. Get to work here. Sitting here reading away here. Welcome. August 10th. Where has the summer gone? Our little precious bundles of joy have been in school a little less than a week. So far so good. Nothing real exciting. I was telling Mr. Burns, my Orioles are red hot. Since I get to control the chair, I get to tell people that. So I'm excited. I have something to look forward to till football season goes. All right, we got several exciting things to get to this evening as I choke a little bit. Thank you, Ms. Steve, for getting the minutes out. Hope you all had a chance to peruse those minutes. If there are any additions, subtractions, please let us know now. If not, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Tom, are you in favor?
Aye.
There you go. Thank you, sir. And I can't hear. Will not make things.
You actually have to do
Oh, that's right. We have to do a roll call. So sorry about that. My bad.
yeah.
Yep. Tom, we got to go back. I forgot. You're remote. So I'm going to do a roll call vote. All those in favor accepting the minutes, I'll call it here. Mr. Burns?
Aye.
Miss Amy?
Aye.
He has to be on screen.
Oh, that's right. Jesus, baby. Tom, can you get your face on screen?
Yeah, let's see.
I forgot about that. Whoa. Matter of fact, we're voting on that. So technically, this board does not have
Okay, hold on a
rules yet.
second. I
for
got it. I think
Zoom
I got
meetings.
it.
It's right here in my little
There
dirty
we
hands.
go. Okay.
All right. Hi, Tom. You're a spry young
there we
buck
go.
you are. There you go. Tom, how do you vote, sir?
Aye.
Miss Amy?
Aye.
Miss Taylor?
Aye.
Miss Taylor?
Aye.
There you go. Like I said, we don't have Zoom meeting rules yet. We're voting on those tonight. All right. With that said, real quick, Eric, I got lots of fun stuff. I know one of the heavy hitting on the agenda for you tonight is budget, so I won't even bug you about that. How's our tower repairs at the soccer park?
Completed.
Ooh. Any movement on our white fence?
The volunteers of the soccer group repaired the one on Field 4.
That's the one I think probably should stay. Yeah.
They did repair that, and then, so we still have to do 8 and 9 yet.
Okay, I want to get those done. Any uptick in traffic flow with school opening at LC and 56th Street? Have we noticed anything?
No, we haven't. No, they've got
Okay.
56th Street done up to Rich Hart's.
Okay,
It's a
okay, so
little-
it's not as
little more
daunting.
open than-
Okay, that's important. Couple things here on the list. Does Jimmy have his new toy yet? Because I want to see something happen with those
No, it's still
things out at Lee
30
Road.
days away or so, supposed.
Okay. I pushed this one back, but we are playing pickleball like crazy right now. Mayor sent Joe Murphy and I, who are the two of his biggest skeptics in pickleball last week, verbally flogging us. And so I had to have my crow on whole wheat with Dijon mustard. And I mean, I drove by, every court was taken when I drove by getting here, and all the way around, people were sitting. So I'm going to go through my checklist real quick. Eric, the light issues, are those settled now? I know.
I just went out today and disconnected the photo cell, so it'll come on the timer. The complaint was it wasn't coming on early enough, so you can't fool the timer, the photo cell.
Right.
So we just had to disconnect it and go straight with the timer. So
Um,
if you notice the lights are on at 5:30, then that's why.
Because eventually 5:30 will be dark, but you would assume when it's dark at 5:30, it would be pickleball, but these people, wow. They'll be out there. Restroom locks, I know that has come up looking at bathroom.
We got an estimate
Right.
from Nelson Alarm, it's $3,000. So we either need to see if we can find a second vendor. Probably won't be able to for that
Yeah,
price.
I was gonna
but,
say.
We'll see if we can find the funds available
Okay.
in the budget.
Our court numbers, the designation of the challenge court, have those all been
Done.
see, you're learning, I mean, when we opened and there was the majority, 99%, they're the happiest people. There was a 1% vocal, no good deed ever goes unpunished. So we didn't know what we didn't know at first, and now we're getting to know what we need to know. Squeegees or anything like that, have we gotten those?
They're out there.
Pickle away, people. I'm going to aim this at Ms. Corey. Corey, are we, as CCA, going to tournament out there this season?
They're not tournament, they're doing another league.
Okay.
Continue with their leagues, they registering not only are they doing books.
See, I was not going to chide. Damn it, Corey.
Yes, they actually have the online registration open for the next session. Also, they're continuing with softball at Community Park because the Lee Road Park field had some repair work that needed to be done on it. And so they've already sold out for the fall session of softball.
Holy hell. Okay, real quick, just for the public digest, because this was one of the inaccurate allegations, how often is CCA running their league out there?
At pickleball, they
Yes,
are
ma'am.
running it just on Wednesday evenings, and they will only use 4 courts. We will not allow them to use more than 50% of the courts for league play, so that we always have courts available for the public.
That was a big one. People were questioning why we would have I could get into a whole dialogue, and as you can tell, 95% of the time, they're all open. And like I said, they are nice. I've gone out there on a half dozen occasions just to impromptu, and wow. Like I said, I'm eating crow on that one. I was going to, well, I'll ask you, Corey, real quick, are we on, because we're all hopefully going to get a part of this, the AFL grant early preliminary stuff. I'm going to give the folks up here.
The city,
Rainy
along
grant.
with Arts for Lawrence, and Arts for Lawrence is taking the lead on it, is writing a joint grant to the NEA, and it is for events that are happening to provide cultural experiences over at the cultural campus, art experiences there. So, for example, when we do Fiesta Lawrence, the entertainment that we have, and things like that, that we do for activities that are arts related, it's a grant that they reimburse you 50%, so it will allow us to expand and extend our budget a little bit for what we are offering. Also, during the farmers market, for example, some of that revenue we take in from the vendors there, we use for performance, but we'll be able to upgrade our performance next year because we've included pieces like that into the grant. And so we look forward, the initial first application piece for approval to submit a full grant was due or is due this week. And so once we hear back, we will know if we are sitting down to write a full grant, and so hopefully everyone keep your fingers crossed, we're approved.
Thank you, ma'am. And with that in mind, Miss Lizzie, will you step up there real quick? A grant we're trying to obtain, yours and Councilman Rusamoroff. Or Indy Beautiful grant.
Oh, okay. So we had a meeting in July, and it was wonderful, the turnout. So many people, representative of Lawrence, who are interested in receiving this grant, which would hopefully be pollinator, flower, prairie-like area planted at Explorer Park by Harrison Hill, and that would be in conjunction with God Rocks, who does a lot of work with kids in the area, and we will not hear about that until the beginning of September, but keep your fingers crossed. It seems very possible that we're in the running for that. So, and can I talk about?
Real quick, yes, ma'am.
Or do you have a
Oh,
question?
have at it.
I just want to add that the 5 acres of pollinator plants at the 4 different parks, Gem Park, Richard Park, Lee Road Park, and Veterans Park. Eric has gotten the signs up at Lee Road Park, and they are hot diggity dog. They really look nice. We've been doing some tidying up at Lee Road Park and Gen Park, and plan on getting to Veterans Park and Richard Street Park, pulling out the ragweed and horseweed, which is just kind of messy. They are natives, but we want to make the plantings as attractive as they can be, and also want to let people know that the paved path along next to Lee Road Park, I call it the Pheasants Forever Trail, but we'll just call it the Lee Road Trail. The cardinal flowers are blooming there. There are lots of natives there that are doing very well, and there are some invasives, which Eric knows. I've been bugging him about how we could possibly remove some of the invasives like the teasel so that they don't take it over, and down the road maybe get signs, but that area is coming along really well. It's really exciting. So can I answer any questions about
Questions there, Tom? Just hope we get the grant.
the
That would be, yeah.
AIB?
Yep.
Yes. So, as I said, we should hear beginning of September.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Real quick, I do want to give shout out to the department getting Lee Road Park all purdied up and ready to open for pickleballing. Ronnie Taylor, I would go out there daily because Joe would get me nervous, and Corey get me nervous that we're never going to open the daggone thing. And but Ronnie Taylor spent an exceptional amount of time out there mulching and getting it together. So just shout out to the guys again. Lastly, Civic Plaza update. There's electrical out there now. Was the AES thing still covered up? Right.
They've got the conduit down, so AES will be in to pull that. They're a couple days behind now, but they were forming concrete earlier this week. So today and yesterday, they got rained out yesterday, but today they had a full crew over there doing forming and getting ready to pour concrete.
Okay. So,
Bases and the sign bases and that sort of thing.
from my other hat I wear, I'm reading Joe's email about the archway and the signage. From the other hat I wear, would that mean another change order?
No, we'll do that. We'll pay the vendor directly for that.
Okay.
We won't go through the.
All right, good enough. The update, because of we had electrical issues, this stuff buried over there and unbelievable. The new completion date has been pushed back 2 weeks to October 13th. We're still in good shape with events happening, so going to make it happen. Board, Tom, you got any questions for Eric, sir?
Yes, the signs on Lee Road at the crossing, that looks good. Appreciate you doing that.
I didn't do it, Tom, but I'll take the.
Take the credit.
Take
Yeah.
credit, take
When they
credit.
break, you
That's
take the
good.
blame. Someone else gets blamed.
That's good. The other thing is football. Do we have an agreement with what do they call it, Lawrence Township Football League?
That's a funny thing you asked me that. I have spent over the last 3 weeks, my third hat I've been wearing. Tentatively, yes. We will talk to Pat Mallory directly about it yesterday for a couple hours. They've reconstituted a new board. Their new bylaws, they're going to just, in essence, pick up the LTFL Mantor in its nonprofit status. The issue we're having right now, and it's not an issue, is they figured out who had the money, and I'm going to meet their acting, now he's no longer on the board, but I'm going to meet Ruben Amy at 2 banks here in the next week to reclaim some of the, all the funds that was still left in LTFL. But a formal agreement, I've said it once and been disappointed, a formal agreement could happen before our next Parks Board meeting.
Okay, because they are practicing.
Well, I could get down into the weeds here about the wonderful world of travel football. They're practicing, believe me, they are. But like I said, I could get in the weeds and how it's different than when we were involved.
Yeah, I just want to be fair to the other youth groups.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if they're gonna use the facilities, well, then they need to play by the same rules everybody else does.
Yeah, I mentioned LTFL that because the fiddle farting around and getting an agreement and everything, we have the Y that's out there. We've had the Gaelic folks out there. I go, you got to plan around their schedule. And they kind of got that.
Okay.
Colleagues, anything for Eric? All right, Mr. Martin.
Just real quickly, a couple things. The department hired a new maintenance employee this past week. Stanley Sox started on August the 1st. He's
Holy heck.
grandson of Stanley Schultz, who a lot of you might know, that ran A&B Hardware for many years and been a resident of Boy Scout Road for 50 years probably. The Community Safety Day, the Parks Department, along with, of course, the rest of the city, will help in the Community Safety Day on this Saturday from 10 till 2 with the wing eating contest at 1. And so we've got the stage to set up, and street departments are there today doing some paving. And so everybody's pitching in to make that community event a success. Jeff did mention pickleball started on July the 27th. OYO starts their fall ball August the 28th with a little over 700 kids involved in the fall league. That group just continues to grow. Fall Creek softball and baseball start on the 20th and go through October the 15th. We're not sure of their sign-ups, but they had travel tryouts last week. So Jeff mentioned pickleball, a CCA, so they seem to be moving right along, and again, well utilized the diamond at Community Park. FC Pride has their Pride Cup on September 23rd through the 25th. That's actually bigger than the Red Lion tournament that they have in April, so the park will be very busy that weekend. The rec league starts this Saturday with about 400 kids involved in the rec league. I don't know if Jeff wants to talk in reference. I guess we can mention budget now. So we have a workshop tomorrow at 5:30 in the evening in this building, actually at the south end of the building, if anybody'd like to attend. It's an opportunity to find out what the budget, where we are and what we're asking for and our goals and accomplishments for next year. Tom, I think I'll send you the address. I think there's a Teams site you can go on to actually go along with us during the presentation.
Okay.
So with that said, the budget goes to the council on the 6th of September. Hopefully we have the public hearing on the 21st and adoption by October 3rd. With November 1st being the drop dead date for the adoption of the budget. And lastly, I want to just mention a couple things. First, the Drum Corps International have gone by Burns Park this week. They're utilizing actually all three fields, a giant program, but they're here for the international competition at Lucas Oil Stadium, and they're using Burns Park for their one of their practice venues. So a bunch of kids out there. And then lastly, the roof at the Starrett Center. We removed the old units on the 3rd, the old AC units. So we've got about 2 weeks from that date to get the curbs constructed and placed on top of the roof, and then the rubber roof company will come in and finish around that. So they should be done in 2 weeks, if not probably 3. But so we're coming to an end on that, but we have to admit we didn't have any leaks last night when it rained, so nice to go in there and not see more plaster on the floors. And I think that's all I've got.
All right. Questions? Anyone?
Oh.
All right. Being none, we have 2 actionable items under new business. First one, we're going to have the Heartland Film presentation, and the reason for that is we have for us a use agreement in the form of, excuse me, lease, a 5-year lease between the City of Lawrence Parks Board and Heartland Film. And I'm going to tie this in all together. Fast forward it here. I will have, in the particular, Ms. Corey, I'll have you come up here in a second and explain just the particular so we can bombard. And then I've been very excited. How long? It's been a year, not quite a year. We've been chatting about this. It's in my opinion, and this is me lobbying before a vote, the Arts for Lawrence campus. I never thought we'd have something like that. Heartland Film's reputation is, renowned, to say the very least, and I'm downplaying it there. I want to keep you humble. But lastly, this is an underutilized asset the city has. It just is. And part of Heartland's desire to come to the city of Lawrence and lease the Sterrett Center, going to make improvements, upgrades to the interior. And we weren't going to be able to make that. Getting the roof, getting the HVAC was saying something. So without further ado, Ms. Corey, stage is yours. Try not to cough.
Hello, I'm excited to have representatives from Heartland here tonight, and they will make a short presentation to give you some information about their organization. But I am excited that Lawrence, they are looking at Lawrence for their new home. We are looking at using the Sterrett Center, where they'll talk a little bit about their plans for that. But the exciting piece about that is that we are able to increase our revenue, and that is something that's very important to us as we look forward to do other things within our parks community. So you'll see per the agreement that Heartland is looking at paying $5,000 a month. That would be $60,000 a year. As we had rented it in the past, if you go back to 2017, that was our biggest year rental at $39,485. They are really looking at a large lump sum of improvements, as Jeff mentioned, and I don't want to steal any of the thunder that they're going to talk about, but I'm excited because of what this means to economic development within our community. An organization like Heartland Film will bring a lot of people to Lawrence, bring a lot of attention to Lawrence, and there are film festivals that they do, in addition to other programming and partnerships that they make with the community, will be so good for us. As Jeff mentioned, it is a 5-year lease, and there is, you will see, a right to renew that. And so it's, I guess right now, I will open it up if anyone has any questions for immediate, if you want more. If not, I will have Michael come up and share information about Heartland, and then I can come back and answer questions that come up as you go through and hear more about the organization.
Tom, let's start with you. Do you have questions, sir?
Not yet.
Okay. Anyone yet? Like I said, just to alleviate and fast forward, Heartland will have, the lease will extend to the interior of the Sterrett Center, not the exterior. They will have exclusive possession of the premises. It's as-is lease agreement. And the big ones, and I'm not going to downplay this because it's important, is the improvements and alterations that we've made, which are significant. But on the other hand, Heartland upgrading public men's and women's restrooms, more complying with ADA and the like, and that is coming from them. And I got the cost estimate from Wilhelm Construction of a total budget of $450,000 to make these improvements to the interior. And that we know, I know, but we probably aren't in a position to make those types of improvement on just one facility. Heartland, it's the upkeep on them to take care of. Once more, we take care of the grounds around it. And a concession, and a very good, Corey and I bantered this one back and forth. The issue of paying utilities will still rest with the city up to $1,500. And that's kind of been our average of,
Right.
there you go.
It's $1,500 a month. If you look at that for a total year, that looks, it's $18,000 a year. Over the 5 years, it's $90,000. Even if you look at the total $450 in improvements that they're talking about, and you take out what would be something that we say we want to do, it's still $325,000. It's actually $324,000. And so we are actually very lucky to find partners who are willing to help and invest in our community the way they are. And by bringing them onto the cultural campus, we tick another box on becoming a cultural destination, just like Nickel Plate District and those kinds of things. So it's a lot of good things that will bring attention to our great city. All right.
All right, I'm going to have, before we engage, if there's questions, I'm going to let you kind of digest that. Our friend from Heartland, if you'll come up and share your story.
Hi there. Well, thanks for having me, and I'm going to apologize for my voice right now.
That's why
I mentioned the word ragweed, so I'm glad we're getting rid of
allergies
ragweed
are
in Lawrence.
cussing me.
It affects my voice a little bit. But my name is Michael Alt, and I'm the president of Heartland Film. And just a little bit about Heartland. We're a 31-year-old organization. We began in 1991 and started with just a very small film festival. And over the years, we've grown. We curate films, and we pick some theaters, and we have a festival. We have special events around that. We show films, and we basically have three main focus areas that we entertain, we inspire, and we educate. And we are very committed to those three areas through the transformative power of film. And as I also brought a guest, Jessica Chapman is our director of marketing, and I'll have her speak a little bit in just a minute. But where we are as an organization, we were in Fountain Square for the last 10 years, and we had these beautiful offices right on the downtown area on Virginia Avenue. Great location. It was just a weird location, and it really wasn't conducive to us and what we were doing. Our 10-year lease was up in July of 2021. So back in 2020, in February, before all the craziness happened with COVID, we actually started working with a leasing agent to help us find a new space. And we started looking. We looked at probably 30 or 40 places, and we had an agreement with Simon downtown the mall because they were just being very aggressive trying to get somebody in there to do some things. So we actually were working with them very closely. They were going to give us a very large space in the mall, and it just didn't feel right to us, but it was something that we were going to move forward with. Of course, then COVID hit, and then if you're familiar with Simon, the mall is no longer managed by Simon, so they backed out of any agreement that we had, and we actually hadn't signed anything. But that really opened the door for us. So this last February, we had started working on a new program that we're putting together called our Merry Movie Nights, which is a holiday film series. And we were looking at all the different theaters that we use for our regular programming. And I'd been out to the festival, or the Fort Theater, maybe 3 years ago with, I I met Judy and I toured the facility. It just wasn't really what we were looking for. And then this year it was like, okay, I heard they remodeled the Fort Theater. We need to go take a look at that. And when we came out here, it was just beautiful. And after we toured the theater, we were just talking that, we were still looking for a headquarters, and that's where this whole conversation came up about the Starrett Center. So, it took me a few minutes to think about it and think, okay, well, we're not going to be downtown. Is that something that's going to bother us? But we're so close to downtown. So I took it to the board, my executive board, and they're like, "You love Lawrence. Everybody loved Lawrence." There was not one negative comment. And then we called our granting organizations, Lilly and Clues and Glick, and they all said, we support this 100%. They love partnerships with who they've already supported and what we're doing. And so we started discussing the opportunity to actually come here to Lawrence. So as a festival, we have two signature events each year. We have our April Shorts Festival and we have our October 11-day full festival. We utilize about 6 or 7 theaters across the city, and we'll still continue to do that. Our plans would be to really have the Starrett Center be our corporate headquarters. It would have 13 offices in it for our staff. We would utilize the event space for mission-driven events, and we sort of just laid that on a floor plan that Corey actually has the floor plans. But once we established that this would really work for us, we wanted to make sure that our donors and the people that support us would understand this. And we kind of did a focus group survey, and again, not one negative comment about moving to Lawrence. So we are continuing to move forward with this. We worked with a contractor, and as Jeff alluded to, we actually, that was the second bid, Jeff. We had a first one that came back at like 700.
I thought that somebody had a gun when they made this. I mean, that's a lot going on for that.
So we had 750,000. We narrowed it down to what Jeff has, about 450,000. The thing is, what we need to do as far as a timeline to get us in there by the end of the year, we had to pick and choose what we needed to have done to get in there, which would include the renovation of the restrooms. It's repairing and replacing the event center doors to secure those. There's new electrical and new data wiring that's going to be installed. We worked with the fire department or the fire chief, and he said that the fire alarm system needs an overhaul and needed to be done before we could move in. So those dollars are included in that. And then it would be a total paint job on the interior. So those would all be done before we actually move into the center. Then we would move our furniture in, hopefully in November, December. And then staff could move in. And then the other things that are on that list, we can do next year when time permits, because it would not affect the actual office areas where staff would be. We are committed to this. I think I get more excited about it every day, just the things that I'm learning about Lawrence. And as I said, that we have these different focuses for Heartland Film, and one of those is education. And I think that was one of our very first conversations. I think Dave Hoffman, if you know Dave.
He lurks, man. He lurks.
we met with Dave and the mayor, and one of the conversation was, you need to meet the superintendent of schools. How can we get this into the Lawrence system? And so I actually have a meeting with Dr. Shaw tomorrow, that Corey helped facilitate that. And, we show films, and it's so funny that we have a film right now that we're getting ready for the fall festival. We just sent out our invitations to our filmmakers. We have about 100 films that are going to be in our festival, and one of those is called Sentenced, and it's a literacy program film that IPS is picking up for some of their grade schools. And so that's a film that we can bring to the Lawrence Township elementary schools to show these kids how important it is to be able to speak and to be able to read, and it's on their level, they'll get it. And so I'm excited about things like that we can partner with and move forward with. Again, Arts and Cultural Campus, we are proud to promote that. And then as far as promoting economic development, I think the sky's the limit with mission-driven events that we are pretty much known for. But with that, I'd like Jessica is our marketing director, and she has a few things to talk about too.
Hello, thanks for having me. A little bit about myself. I've been attending the Heartland International Film Festival since I was in middle school, so I'm very passionate about the festival, and I really believe that it can transform lives and really introduce like communities and people to new ideas and perspectives. And actually at my last job, I wanted to mention that I was doing the education marketing for a documentary, and we took this to schools all over the state. And it was actually included in the Heartland International Film Festival. And I'm getting a little choked up actually thinking about it because it was about a Holocaust survivor who came to forgive the Nazis for what they did. And I really saw these students have these transformative experiences and just changing of their hearts. And that's something at Heartland Film that we've been really striving to do to bring into the education systems. But it can be really challenging when you're talking about different timelines of different organizations. So it was so exciting to see that you guys are, passionate and want to work with us and want to connect us right away to the right people, because the organization piece is what it really takes to make those things happen. We already have the incredible films. We already have the system down. It's just like creating that partnership. The other thing I kind of wanted to bring up too is through these partnerships though, it's really about bringing communities together through film. We can't do this by ourselves. A film festival is about bringing people together. And that's something that we're really good about, is working with different chamber groups and different organizations. We want to partner with your arts programs. We want to partner with your nonprofits. We have so many different types of films with messages, and we can work with you guys on like what makes sense and connecting those nonprofits to those films to help increase their awareness and their messages in their community. And then also the other thing that I wanted to talk about is for the actual marketing of our location. We'd love to do a launch sometime maybe in January, but obviously this would be, in partnership with you guys so we can work around your guys' schedule and what you would like to do. But we would really like to send out a press release, get the information out there, do some sort of opening event, if that's like a ribbon cutting. It's whatever you guys, typically do, but we want to be involved. We're an events organization, so we like to have fun with it. And that's the other thing, we're always here and wanting to promote where we're at. So if there's any way that we can be involved in the other events that you guys are already hosting and we can collaborate on that, we want to be a part of that too. I think that our festival locally is gaining a lot of attention, but if you didn't know, internationally it's gaining a lot of attention too. We just made Movie Maker Magazine's top 20 best film festivals in the world list for a short film festival, and we're also continuously on lists all across the country. And recently we've been partnering with MTV Documentary Films, LA Times, Movie Maker Magazine. So I think we have a successful future, and we'd love to work with you guys on that.
Thank you.
I just, to that too, we are also an Academy Award-winning qualifying festival for the film winners for our Shorts Festival, which is, I think there's 17 in the country that are actual qualifiers. So it's a pretty cool place that we hold there. And I will say the meeting that I had with Dave and the mayor, these round things, I see it on the screen here, you have these coasters that I just really loved, and Corey gave me one, and we actually stole the idea already from.
Oh, wow.
We made these, and I brought one for each one of you.
All right.
I don't want to just walk up there, but There's one for the screen too. Yeah, so that's not a bribe. I'm just giving you a. Does anybody have any questions for us, or?
Floor is open for questions there, Tom.
I don't have any questions for Heartland, because I think they're a great organization and really like what they're doing. But have we thought about what, there's many people that have used the Starrett Center. And have we thought about any upgrade for our other facilities or making those more accessible to people?
Yes, actually, we have. And so Eric and his team, they worked with some contractors, and the inside of the community center has been updated, and it's fresh and bright. And I think a lot of people saw that on Fourth Fest, and where the Kiwanis had their fish fry there, and many people, as we were there, commented on how nice that it did look in there. I think we're waiting on the stove yet, and
Eric-
so Eric.
I was in on that call yesterday. It's, the first one was Dennett, it's, update us.
Yeah, we talked to him yesterday, and it's still a week or two out. They did have one shipped in, and it was damaged, so they have to send it back and have another one sent. So that comes from
What was his name?
Los Angeles, no, not somewhere in California.
Okay. And the other part, Chin Park is, of course, the upgrades to the kitchen area, the prep area. I had Mick athletic directors out there a week ago, and the only thing that I see Chin Park desperately needs, other than work on the water flow and all of that, is, Eric, we need new chairs.
New chairs and lighting.
Yeah.
That is what some of the additional revenue that we will be getting, we hopefully can use to do some of those types of things that we need. Additionally, Eric has met with, and Dave Hoffman and myself, we've met with the gentleman, actually you were there too, but about getting a master gardener involved with our parks for next year, because when we look, and with the fountain at Gen Park and some of the things, it's a beautiful wedding venue. So if one of our part-time employees flips over to being a master gardener during the summer, just imagine what the gardens could be. It could be one place where photos, everything gets happened. So we are looking at some of those different things to be proactive for next spring, because we really think that that can become the right place. And to your point about the chairs, Jeff, it's not just the chairs, but
I was just trying to, there's a list. I had
to the tables, and that's just not
I
conducive.
had a long list going down my face there.
Pretty, venue, wedding venue. So we are actually doing some of those pieces and really looking at all of that to help make those improvements. One thing I do want to say also is, when the mayor was out on vacation just about a month ago, he was out in South Dakota, and he was talking to this gentleman, and he was a filmmaker, and he goes, "Oh, have you ever heard of Heartland Film?" And this person all the way out in South Dakota was like, "Oh yeah, that's a great film festival." So what it can do for us in Lawrence, and because we have other facilities that we have begun to invest in and can continue to provide and meet the needs of what we're doing, I really believe that people are going to discover other parts of Lawrence, as well as bring more people here into our city by entering into this lease agreement. Any other questions?
Questions?
I have a question. Will the interior of the Starrett Center be substantially changed? It said there were 13 offices, so would that?
It will not, just so to get a feel for it, and Michael could speak to it a little bit more, but currently where Parks is, that's going to become, 6 offices? But it's not any walls, it's the cubicles. So it's not a permanent change. So any place where they're doing that, it's the only place that you'll see something happening with the walls is where you go into the big room.
Right.
The doors on that storage are right when you come down the ramp
That's going to get hit.
on the left side.
Okay.
But that ramp needs to technically be lengthened to be truly ADA compliant. So
Okay.
the doors are being moved to that long wall there so they can achieve the ADA compliance.
Okay, very good.
And just for the record, the exterior will be and has to be left as is. So I've had a couple of folks that, no, it just needs, that won't be touched. New signage, we'll update signage so people know who the heck's in that building now. And Corey and I have kicked around some ideas, but yeah, looking at their floor plan, where we see walls, those aren't walls. The noticeable upgrade obviously will be the upgrades to the and I know we have to ADA comply with the ramp, but the upgrades to the restrooms. And a little better security, you know, those old doors that go out the east side by the stage. I'm surprised people haven't pried those open.
But again, yeah, those, even though the doors that are replaced that have to replicate those doors, even if
Yeah.
it's metal or what, but they have to.
Because they're an exterior.
Existing.
Yeah, we are not going to change the integrity of the building at all. The doors would be, if you came in there, you wouldn't notice the difference.
Right.
Those things. The construction team was out there this week, and they said they're going to actually take those and rebuild those and reinforce everything
I
with
see.
metal, and so that it'll still look exactly the same. The only walls that I think that Corey stated that would come down are in the men's and women's restroom. Those are going to be total guts pretty much because they're very dated, and everything in there just needs to be changed around a little bit. They also have ADA compliance with the height and everything, so I don't know if you've been in the women's restroom in there, it's a little short to go to the
try
restroom
not
in
to.
there. So we're going to take away some of the stalls and things, but it is still going to be a functioning full-service restroom facility. And just because I just heard this, the ramp in there is actually ADA compliant. So whoever did that did it within the guidelines. So they're telling us for right now, a quick fix, what we need to really do is just make sure that there's
Trying to figure, did we install that?
a railing system in place. So we're definitely going to do some work in there. We don't know if we're going to take out that whole thing. We would want to.
Right.
Depending on what's underneath the floor still, and
Yeah.
we're still doing some, but we still have a lot of things on that list, Jeff, that we are going to still continue to do. Over the,
But that's kind of what I thought. That was more of it. It's a continuous to-do list.
yes, and then as far as the offices, they are cubicles. We're going to be putting probably some carpet down. It's going to be mostly rugs.
Right.
Nothing where we're going to go into the floor at all.
Right.
The only other thing that might be a little different is we're adding a little more electrical outlets to the walls around the,
Yeah, those might be original, or at least where the outlets are in that place. They may go back to 1930 if they're replaced. No heck,
Oh, they couldn't.
I know them. But there's not enough.
I'm learning more about
see.
construction than I ever thought I would, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, and I'm excited about the changes. Again, we're not changing the colors to make it look like it's rainbow or blue or green or whatever. It's going to be similar to what you would see right now.
Can I just ask, the acoustical wall panels in the big room, are
Are they temp or?
is it adhesion process or
They're
how's it?
actually like pictures that you just hang on a wall.
Okay.
They're so modernized right now. It's just like fabric foam. We'll probably logo them somehow or even put some graphics on them. Not really sure. The other thing is obviously that event room, the ceiling tiles. I don't know if it's on your list or not.
Yeah, it was.
We have a wish list to replace all of those, depending on when the water damage and all that gets fixed. And so we don't think it's necessary for us to get in there right now, just because when we move into the building, it's, we're not going to be working in the event space every day. But we do have a plan to replace all the tiles so that they would look similar, but they would be the acoustical tiles also.
We do that. We just did that 18 months ago or so, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Ooh, wow.
did you do acoustical tiles?
Lowe's tiles, yes, but they're not acoustical.
Samuel Lowe's, the
I don't
famous
think-
artist.
That's why it's not an immediate need to do, because I think once we replace the damaged ones, I think it's going to be fine in there. But like Corey said, the wall, we may not have to do that now that ramp doesn't have to be let out. But we're going to do what is right for the building. I mean,
Right.
we're taking shortcuts for anything. So
Absolutely not.
yeah,
All right.
right.
Questions, ladies? Mr. Tom, anything?
Nope, no more.
Mr. Hoffman? He's coming up. Like I said, he's lurking. Go ahead, sir.
You don't mind?
No.
Since Mayor Collier and I, and of course Corey, have been in on these conversations since the beginning, I wanted to kind of pass along our input, not to belabor the point. I think everyone gets the idea of what a great opportunity this is, not only for the city, but for Heartland Film. This is truly a mutually beneficial partnership for both entities, not just from an economic development standpoint financially, but from unique new forms of art and entertainment right here in the center of Lawrence. I love what Jessica was saying about community outreach. I think this part really hasn't been talked about too much, but I envision, and I know Mr. Alt envisions, expanding the programming to parts of our community that are either marginalized or, some might even say neglected when it comes to arts and entertainment. And we're going to be collectively offering some really amazing experiences to people who, quite frankly, don't get that kind of exposure.
There's a caveat to that.
We are thrilled about that. And Jessica talked about location. What hasn't been mentioned is this is right on the Purple Line bus route, which connects the entire east side of Indianapolis right through that intersection, so even people that maybe don't have reliable transportation, they can reach this location. So I just wanted to kind of point that out as something that was really very much on our radar when Corey first introduced this, because she has a previous business relationship with Mr. Alt going back years, I understand. So there was that level of trust that was already there. And so when Corey brought that, of course, we were just thrilled. And I can tell you and Mr. Vest, because you, I believe, were my daughter's teacher at the time.
Yep.
And I can't remember if it was sophomore year or junior
year.
Okay, junior year at Lawrence North High School. And she had the ability to attend the screening that was mentioned earlier, and it was transformative for her. So as
to this day, I go back to that movie with the quotes, and people, our kids didn't know whether to laugh, because we were there when we had folks from the Jewish Community Center. They laughed. And of course, my poor kids, they were made uncomfortable.
Yes.
They didn't know how to respond, but that's what film should move you either to laugh, cry, or say this is awful. And that's definitely what that did.
And that was a very powerful, moving experience for my daughter. So I'll take off my chief of staff hat and put on my dad hat.
Yeah.
And just I can't talk about the benefits of that particular experience for our family. And I look forward to that and even more. And I know Michael and Jessica have talked about MSDLT schools, and we wanted to make that connection with Dr. Smith and his staff. And I'm confident that the programming is going to be expanded into our schools. So anyway, those are just some things. I just wanted to, I guess, make it official, the mayor's office endorsement of this proposal. And I hope I'm confident it's going to be unanimously approved, and just what a great benefit to our city. So thank you all for your consideration and your time on this. And I really want to thank Deputy Chief of Staff Corey Korn for making this introduction. And I'm so glad we're here to where we're at today. So thank you.
Thank you. And just a caveat, I was going to say earlier, when we did the groundbreaking for the library, I made the comment that that's such a great location. The Lawrence branch, second busiest one in the county, is up there on 82nd and Hague Road. And going back to what Mr. Hoffman said, no transportation, inadequate transportation, whatever. That's a partnership, the Marion County Library and Heartland Film. That would probably be another connection to make. But the location of the library that will open mid next year will benefit folks that are south of Pendleton Pike that basically a lot of folks don't get north of Pendleton Pike unless they're attending one of our MSDLT schools. Any more questions there, Tom?
No.
Okay, I would entertain a motion at this time. I can't read. Entertain a motion, 5-year lease agreement between the City of Lawrence Board of Parks and Recreation and Heartland Film Incorporated.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Ms. Norman?
Yes.
Ms. Helen?
Yes.
Ms. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Aye.
And the chair votes in the affirmative. We're excited. Thank you. All right. Okay. Now we have one other thing. This is it's a teachable moment. We are one of the last board, if not the last board, each board has been allowed to kind of create their own ways of doing Zoom meetings. And like I said, at the beginning, we didn't have any rules, but what we have before us, resolution establishing a written policy by which members of the City of Lawrence Board of Parks and Recreation may participate in meetings by electronic means of communication. And these are the chief provisions to it. Excuse me. A board member who participates in a meeting by electronic means shall be considered present for the purpose of establishing a quorum. But in any final action at the meeting, the board member must be seen and heard. I'm not going to get deep into this weeds here. There is a statute for technological failure. All votes taken during a board meeting, during an electronic meeting will be a roll call. You have to have 50% of the board members physically present. Board member may not attend more than 50% of board meetings in a calendar year via electronic communications, military service, sick, death, emergency, exceptions there. Board member may not participate in a board meeting by an electronic communication. The board is attempting to take final action on budget, a reduction in personnel, and 3 other items dealing with various types of tax actions. A board member may attend 2 consecutive meetings by electronic communication and shall physically attend at least 1 meeting between each of those sets. So there you go. Any questions? All right. I would entertain a motion on, I'll just call it the Parks Board Electronic Meetings Resolution Number 3, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Ms. Taylor?
Aye.
Ms. Taylor?
Aye.
Ms. Norman?
Aye.
Mr. Burns?
Aye.
All right. There you have it. All right. Being no new business, public. You know, the public got their money's worth tonight because they all participated. So if I were teaching today, I would get high fives.
I had a comment.
Yes.
Well, welcome Heartland. And secondly, we saw Dino Batalis, our fire chief, on Fox 59
Yes.
yesterday, talking about Community Day, Safety Day.
Dashingly handsome police chief or fire chief for the city of Lawrence. But yes, that's exciting. You know, Community Day is getting to be as big event as, I mean, will not be a small gathering, and the weather's going to be spectacular. And Dee, what did we decide we were giving from this department?
What are we giving?
Trinkets.
Oh, we have, we have the Monarch Butterfly Group's going to participate under our tent also.
Thank you, dearest.
So Liz and her husband will be there to, and then what are we giving away? Jump ropes, water bottles. What else?
You didn't go with the football thing?
No.
Oh,
No,
you
we
guys are-
found some oldies but goodies.
Oh, okay. Oldies but
saving
goodies.
money.
Yeah. Well, being nothing else before the board, welcome aboard Heartland. That's another exciting moment. Like I said, you're on board. The True Hotel will be opening up in mid-September. Work at the Civic Plaza. The library's rocking and rolling. I'm exhausted. So with that said, have a good evening.